Hi guys, welcome to the Mojo Maker Show. I'm your host, Nikki Fogden-Moore, and welcome to Monday, the 20th, I think, or the 21st of September, 2020. So this is a really, really fantastic time of the year. Despite everything that's happened recently, we have so much to be grateful for. And I don't know about you, but I know that many people have had a chance to disengage from the hustle and really start to figure out what's truly important. So maybe this year has forced you into a shift in coordinates where you've actually started to think, wow, what's really important to me? What skills do I want to do? How do I really feel in this life? Because as I always say, life is not a dress rehearsal. So for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore. I work with quantum coaching for extraordinary leaders, which means taking everything and really taking it all to the next dimension. So healthy, wealthy, wise, but not as you've known it before. So I specialize in working with people that probably, how you would say, have already made it. And then we think, what's next? And it doesn't matter where you sit in this world, what your title is, how old you are. Really, it's to do with your attitude and your ability to navigate your way through any situation that's handed to you. So that's why I like to use the rally analogy. So I've got some worksheets with me because this 7-week series of 7 checkpoints is part of my Adulting, the Rally of Life new book, which is over here. Very exciting. So actually, to be honest with you, we already had it ready, and then I got really pedantic about it. And after, because I use all the models with my coaching, and I was like, I've got to change something. I've got to make it easier and more chunky. And I want me to jump off the pages as if you could coach with me if you picked up this book. So no BS, no hope projects. Just imagine that when you pick up this book, you're connecting with me one-on-one. So they basically took me back to the drawing board. And when I started researching overwhelm and the statistics and what we're going through in today's society and my purpose, my soul's purpose with people and profit, I realized that we're in this billion-dollar industry, right? Billions of dollars on mental well-being, high performance, AI, UI, you name it. Everything's automated and we have all this access to resources and to help. But I think we're missing the point completely. To me, fundamentally, I believe that we're all operating on an outdated hard drive, which means that we're probably making decisions and we're setting ourselves up for life and we're trying to kind of cope with life with a 1960s framework when this is a completely different landscape. It's like we're going to the moon, but all we've got is a plastic milk bottle and a pen and paper. And so what I want to do, if you're working with me now and you come and join this channel, hop on to the vitalitycoach.com.au, just Google Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker, hit the little subscribe notification button below. I am giving away free copies of Adulting with anyone that subscribes to YouTube with me in September. So just write your name there, write a comment, say, hey, new subscriber, and then you'll be on the pre-order list for Adulting. I'm really, really excited because this platform gives me a chance to reach people I normally wouldn't have a chance of coaching with one-on-one because I have a very unique filter with how I work individually with my clients. But I think the message is the same. The deep work in the trench is going to be different, but hopefully this Monday Mojo and the videos that I'm going to do and the language that I'm giving you will catapult you from chaos to calm and put you firmly in the driver's seat. And that also means utilizing your inner knowledge and stop looking outside all the time for a quick fix. I call this the tic-tac theory. So often when I stand on stage to speak at keynotes, we don't do that so often now with no travel. I always say to people, look under your chair. Is there a magic pill? Because they're all waiting for this one thing that's going to change their life, like winning the lottery, right? But what if you had everything that you need? And I know we know this information because we listen to it with Dr. Joe Dispenza. We read it about quantum physics. Everyone's read the Four Agreements, Eckhart Tolle. We know this stuff, right? So what I want to ask is what's stopping you applying this? What's stopping you from leveling up and realizing that you absolutely can be in the driver's seat? So with the 7 weeks, we're going to go through these 7 checkpoints. This is going to be in my book. So this is a rally analogy. But today I want to talk to you about checkpoint 1, which is slowing down, busting through life like a big tank in the military is just not sustainable. And it's like continuously driving on a wonky wheel. you're going to end up creating a disaster for yourself. So any, great kind of engineer or race car driver or rally driver doesn't set out on an expedition without figuring out if their chassis is intact. So that's the body of your vehicle, right? And then you've got to have your good engine and your resources, and you've got to figure out what condition that car is in. What condition are you in? And all too often we push through things, and we've got a pandemic going on, but we also have an epidemic going on, and that epidemic is overwhelm. That epidemic is loss of ability to make own decisions. That epidemic of overwhelm is lack of direction, lack of feeling connected. It's never enough. I'm never enough. It is chasing titles, property, things, places, money, foundations, all this stuff, but it's never enough. And overwhelm is not just affecting our leaders, it's affecting our children in kindergarten. It's affecting our children at school level between ages 8 and 12 who don't know what to do with themselves, and they feel, I don't know if you see some of these kids lugging school bags to school that are heavier than they are. Now, with everyone being digitally connected, is that a curse or is it a cure? So we're told that being digitally connected is a cure, but yet trying to find assistance for how to overcome working with people with avoidant tactics, or, how to find your happiness, or, oh my God, you start Googling some of these things and you will just never come out of that tunnel of digital world. There'll be a digital forest and you'll surface like 6 hours later and you don't know where the time's gone. So working with me, I want to give you access to some tools, but also in the next 10 to 15 minutes, teach you to pit stop, so that is slow down and what it means to be in survival mode, recognizing the signs of overwhelm and not ignoring them. So here's the difference. We know when we're not feeling right. We know when we're off center. We know when we're out of alignment. You've always got that story. Some people, it's like, yeah, I got married and I knew all along it wasn't right, or I signed that business deal, or I don't know, whatever it is. And you just, you've got this niggle, but you do it anyway, right? You just go, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I should do this, or I'll just be fine. Or maybe you're coming up and at the end of every day at the moment and you're just tired. You're tired of the state of the world. You're tired of having to fight for your business. You're tired of having to fight your way through a relationship and not feel like yourself anymore. And you're just like, I feel so disconnected. So let me read out some of the signs of overwhelm here. Down below in the description box for this, there's links to my website, because this will also be on the blog, and also this will go out as a podcast. So for those of you listening to the Mojo Maker Show on podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can get it on Spotify and all the usual channels. So let's talk about the signs of overwhelm and how to recognize and give yourself first aid, or how to recognize overwhelm in others. I think we have a very stoic society where, even though we've done a big campaign, it was Are You OK Day recently, and we spoke about, it's not just that question, it's what's next after that. There's still a reticence to realize in yourself that you're not actually happy. And there's still a reticence to move from regret and shame and guilt and blame to, okay, I just have to realize that has happened. I cannot change the past. But what I can change is my present and how I deal with the future. And that fundamentally is the whole teaching of anything to do with mindfulness, which is, you have a choice. You can stay stuck and you can stay in the pain body and you can stay in agony and you can think how unjust it is, and you can leave your heart raw and ripped apart and betrayed and open and all the things that come with that, or loss, grief, whatever it is. But at a certain point, you have to say, it's time now, and I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to step into my truth. Because dining out on stories of what's gone wrong, you're missing the opportunity to see what life is putting in front of you. And I can categorically guarantee you there are people worse off than you. So instead of just saying that, realize that you actually, by listening to this, by being here in this very moment in time, whenever you happen to click on this video, it's the right time for you. Because this message needs to get to you, which is, this is it, right? So let's drop the pin and do the first checkpoint in adulting, which is assessing, where are you really? So let me just go through some of the physical, mental, and emotional signs of overwhelm. And if you want this, you can get it in the book, Pre-Order Adulting, or you can just find me an email. But you've got exhaustion, insomnia, addictions, drugs, alcohol, sugar, sex, pornography, video games, television binging, like anything that you feel that it's your go-to for a quick fix. Lack of energy, this kind of apathy, this just can't be bothered, don't care, who cares anywhere. There's just inability. No matter how many motivational quotes you put on your dashboard or your mirror, you just can't get going. Weight gain, sudden weight loss, your body changes, you don't feel right, muscle ache, headaches, illnesses, everything that is screaming to you, saying, physically things aren't okay, right? So the problem is that we've spent so much time in society teaching people about coping. We spend so much time in society teaching people about resilience, whereas I want to teach you about acceptance and agility, which is no matter how old you are, you can absolutely be your fittest, fastest, happiest self. Okay, so come with me on this journey. The second part of this is the mental signs of overwhelm. I think the biggest thing is that fuzzy thinking where you're like, that indecision, the horrible point where you cannot make a decision. Just the worst thing ever, isn't it? Just make a decision and you can't. You're like flipping and flopping. It's so exhausting. Feeling stuck, feeling trapped, feeling like you can't go anywhere, feeling like you have no power or ability to make a choice, anxiety, inability to make decisions or focus on anything. It might even be what you feel like for dinner. Overthinking is a huge one, or fear of judgment from others, procrastination, rash or poor decisions, the other aspect of the scale, and also making, really poor financial decisions or avoidance things. I don't want to look at those bills. I don't want to know what's happening with my super. Job keeper's ending, but I don't care. Just total, do not come near me. Block out, just avoid the world. And that brings me to the third pillar of looking for these signs. Emotionally, people or you might feel shut down, so you'll notice someone on overwhelm when they're just not engaging, they're just not present. Lack of connection to self or others. So you could be sitting having a conversation and they're just not there, and that often makes me really sad because we only have 140 minutes in a day. And it makes me sad when I see people that are depressed and not connected and feeling lost, because if you can give that significance and you can find that in yourself, you can unlock a real magic in this journey in life. So if you are feeling like this, I really want to give you all this energy and these tools now and say, don't worry, you will be okay. Defensive, argumentative, withdrawn, avoidant, depression, sadness, grief, and guilt. You're really heavy energies, aren't they? Just like these things also manifest themselves in children. So you might have children that are very reclusive. Maybe they're just not performing very well. They don't want conversations, and they get in a cloud of anxiety and depression, and they're not thinking properly. And you've got to catch this early on. And I think communication is the vital point in this. So what's a good way to catch all this? We've got these signs and we want to do some first aid. I love my little diagrams here. So these are all going to be in the online program as well to go with the book. So just email me or hit below. But this epidemic of overwhelm, it really has a deeper impact. So when you sit in these signs that I've just given you, when you listen to those signs about mental, physical, and emotional burnout, the repercussions of overwhelm are massive. Let's just go through a few. So personal relationship and professional relationship breakdowns, divorce, lack of communication, separations, illness, depression, heart attacks. One of the greatest results of overwhelm is our failing condition to deal with anxiety, lack of good health, predominantly leading in leadership to heart attacks as well. And it's just as many as women as men. Reduced overall well-being, lack of financial acuity, lack of ability to feel in control of your finances, to plan appropriately and to make a good backup plan, poor decision-making, unserviceable debt, parenting, partnership issues, schooling issues, communication, child anxiety, and increases in behavioral issues and increased diagnosis. So professionally, you have loss of staff retention, mistakes at work, productivity breakdown. In some of the larger organizations with LTIs, life-threatening injuries, we have an increased risk of those sorts of things happening. Miscommunication, bullying, icing out, failure to speak up, reduced attention to detail, loss of turnover, job satisfaction, and client retention, increased sick leave, and no-shows. You know, we get a defensive leadership and management when our leaders aren't well either. We don't get a safe place to be truthful if the top of the food chain isn't operating in their sovereign self as well. So it's very important that we don't just go, yeah, I recognize all those signs. It's what we're going to do about it. And let's talk about financially on a community level, a household level, and just a global level. We've got this increased debt, financial burdens, breakdowns in the distribution of wealth. We've got really poor decision-making around financial planning. We've got high credit card debt than ever. We've got lots of people doing first home buys that can't service their mortgages. We've got community and environmental risks financially, increased expenditure globally on mental health, burnout, stress, anxiety, and illness, yet it's not getting any better, right? So I want to talk to you now and say, what can you do just for your own side of the street? Because if you can start with your own lane, if you can start with your own, your spot on the grid, which is just like, this is just my ecosystem. Because if everybody took care of their own ecosystem, being your body, mind, spirit first, then the immediate circle connected to you, that has a massive ripple effect of interconnectivity. So before you worry about martyrdom, which is looking outside the box and helping everybody else and being the greatest philanthropist in the world, the first philanthropic act you can do is give charity to yourself, right? And that means probably going through this traffic light system. So today's on the Monday Mojo, it's going out. Sign up. It's vitalitycoach.com.au, and you just, on the top of my website, there's the Monday Mojo sign up. So it's all free. And I try to make my blogs, if you're listening to this in the podcast or if you are watching a video, as practical as possible, that you get one hit wonder. So you can just go, read all the tips, listen to the video, and you're done. But this is the worksheet here. So I want you to think about, take a sheet of paper and drop the pin on what's in flow in your life and where are the biggest areas of anxiety, stress. I call them the F me moments, the things that keep you awake at night. They give you that heart palpitation as soon as you wake up in the morning. They're there again. It's like a bad dream, except it's real. The roadblocks, the lack of boundaries, the uncertainties, and the fears. Very, very important, because those things are steering your ship, when actually if you recognize those things, we can do something about it. So you've got the green, which is in flow. You've got amber, which is a little bit on the fence. And you've got the red zone, which is, that is a state of national emergency in your world. Very, very important. And you've got mental. Where are you feeling right now on the state mentally? Like truly, what's in the green zone, what's amber, and what's red? And that could be anything to do with people, places, and things. Emotionally, they're two different things. Mentally and emotionally are two different things. And physically, you know, are you getting out of bed in the morning and feeling energized, or are you just having to drag yourself out of bed? Are you having terrible body image issues? Have you got low self-worth? Are you feeling afraid of actually admitting that you feel like this in the first place? When's the last time you really serviced your own engine properly, fed it well, fueled it properly, looked into it, did your doctor's checkups, really took responsibility for this chassis that we have to go, wow, you know what, I really matter. So this sheet here is your first aid worksheet. And I always say to people when they start working with me, it doesn't matter where you come in on this vortex. What matters is that you press pause and you slow down. And that's really what survival mode, I think, is all about, is going, well, before we sort of go into the uncharted territory of what's next and we bumble around there and we come back, you know, exhausted and full of shrapnel, we're always going to be prepared. And the best way to be prepared is to take stock of where you are now. And I often talk about my time. I went to see the Marine Corps Hawaii base, and I had a whole day there with different battalions, you know, from the first battalion that go in and set up before the rest of the troops arrive, to the special martial arts unit, all these different things. It was amazing. And I got to meet some really remarkable people. And at the end of it, there was such a commonality, is that you just don't wing it. You know, when your life and someone else's life is at stake, you don't wing it. And we are in that situation every day in our own lives, yet we've just become so lazy, or we've also become, it's not me, it's them. And I think if you really want to lead in this life, you have to realize that you have the absolute opportunity to shift a couple of coordinates and to realize that with the most tangible advice, the greatest roadmap, and a really strong chassis, which is you can go anywhere and you can enjoy it. So flip this story of this life being, you know, this unimaginable kind of burden to the fact that there's always perfect conditions. Wherever you're in right now, it's divine timing. It's supposed to be here. You're exactly where you need to be. It is attitude, not age. It is experience and the lens that you look through. And it doesn't matter what got you to this point today. So whenever you're watching this video, just drop the pen and go, right, I'm just going to put the pen in the map. And I'm going to go, where am I at? Where am I at emotionally? Where am I at physically? Where am I mentally? And mentally includes your business, your financial situation, your ability to, do you know even the questions to ask your accountant, your lawyers, your financial planners, your wealth building? Do you know what today's requirement of financial freedom is, that you don't have to stress about money and you've got enough in the bank for your future, for your kids? Do you understand what legacy is? Do you know what lights you up during the day? You know, these are very, very, very important questions. And I think what's really important from my point of view is that when you come on this journey with me, when you pick up adulting, or when you tap into a podcast that you're listening to like now, or the video, or you come and join me, that these tools and this conversation is about reality. It's not about going, hey, you know, this is all going to be fantastic and rainbows. It's actually about suiting up for the challenges that makes this life so enriching. It's the attitude that makes you be a Red Bull athlete for life. You know, that you jump out of the plane going, I feel like I've done everything I can to prepare myself and I'm suited up and ready to go. That thrill-seeking attitude is what we need. That thrill-seeking attitude is what flips you over from being life does stuff to me to I am going to do things with life. Now, I do want to also say that these tools, just like anything, mean you have to regroup. So any great athlete, any great leader, any person that is a thrill seeker about their life and love has to come back and regroup. And that's the problem, is that we keep thinking we can keep going until the fuel gauge is empty. And then we wonder why we've come to a complete stop. And I'm giving you a little bit of insight today to say, don't let yourself run on empty. Don't ignore the signs that the road is giving you ahead. Don't ignore the wobbly wheel or the little kind of that little sound at the back of the vehicle as you're going along. Don't ignore your gut intuition. Don't ignore your inner GPS. Listen to it, because it's telling you something amazing. And when you can tune into that, you can pivot. You can be agile. You can listen. You can observe, and you can refine. And then you might even do, you know, a slight clicking coordinate, and you'll be off in a different direction. But that ability to be at a pace where you can always stop and go, well, hold on, to refine and review is one of the most remarkable tools you'll have to lead in your life, because it means that anything is possible. And at any given point in time, you can press pause. You are in the driver's seat. So, you know, for me, I feel like I'm a co-pilot for my clients. Great coaches, by the way, they work with you, not for you. So if you're trying to find a great navigator, I call myself a navigator for my clients, then you've got to make sure that you really like that person, because you're going to have to tell them everything, and they're going to be in the trenches. I'm in the trenches with my clients. You're also going to have someone that continually grows and inspires you and gives you the information that is right for you. You know, coaches aren't there to give you information that's right for them, to push you through a process and go, woo, here's your certificate. They're there to listen and ascertain where you sit on these checkpoints, what the right thing to do for now is, and to not move you through too fast, to make sure that the foundations of excellence are there. And to me, that is so, so important in a world, as I said before, right at the beginning of this episode, where we have, I think it's $50 billion industry on well-being and overwhelm alone, but it's getting worse. So does that not tell you something? We need to be more discerning where we get our information from. We need to be more accountable of how we're going to assimilate that information. And we need to be really sure who our co-pilots are in our life, who our team of experts are, who our advisors are, that they're truly showing up for us and that they've got proven experience, and that they're able to say, this doesn't sound right, this doesn't feel right, and teach you on a cellular level what that really means. And that's really my commitment. And I really hope that comes through in this channel. I hope this comes through in this podcast. that you guys realize that this is not my first rodeo. This isn't your first rodeo. So what's going to be different? What's going to be different is you taking the time out to go, I'm just going to pull off to the side of the road for a second. And I'm going to say, what are the signs of overwhelm? How am I feeling? How's my fuel? Is the road clear? What's working? What isn't working? Before I keep pushing forward. And then I can avert disaster, but also I can regroup and accelerate with a better foundation. And that's really what I want to say today is, despite Formula One, where there are different grid spots given to the fact on your qualifying rounds, life is a rally. There is no slow lane at the start line. It's up to you the pace you want to go, but you have to show up and you have to suit up and you have to have your resources ready. You can't wing it because you're in charge. And that's the beauty in everything. Get informed, find the most amazing information, and just do that bit first. So just do this first. I would love to see how you get on here at the traffic light system. Whoop, whoop. I really, really genuinely would love to hear from you. I would love you to write me an email, nikki@thevitalitycoach.com.au. Leave me a comment on YouTube. Come follow me on Instagram at @Fogden-Moore. Connect, subscribe to the podcast, the Mojo Maker Show. It's all free. It's all over iTunes and Spotify and everything else. I think most importantly, I want you to understand the deeper aspect of not taking accountability, to drop the pen and go, are we in survival mode? And to recognize those around you when they are. So recognize the signs, press pause, pull over, slow down, and allow yourself the ability to shuffle the coordinates if you need to, because then you'll be able to regroup and head off in a direction revived, purposeful, connected, and with the right ingredients. And that is the most important thing. What you used to do before might not serve you anymore. So take that 1960s operating system out that's gone through all the generations up until now and build yourself a new one. Build yourself a new hard drive, which is, where do you value the most? Where do you sit right now? And have a deeper understanding of the fact that you're in the driver's seat. So I hope today's episode to identify the signs of overwhelm, mental, emotional, physical, financial, all the things that come with, opting out. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, because from burnout comes freak out, then you have opt out. And you'll see this in my book. It's on one of the pages. It's the stages. We can't afford to have any more of you opting out. We need you to be courageous. We need great leaders with solid values to operate with the best of the financial integrity in this planet, because this is where your journey lies, to be successful, to be abundant, to be happy, to be healthy, to have absolute joy, and to put down the old story that life has to be a struggle, that then you've made it. It's supposed to be a heck of a ride. And that's what I want to tell you today. So welcome to this journey of adulting, the rally of life with me. I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore. My new book, Adulting, the Rally of Life, will be my third book. It is available for pre-order on the vitalitycoach.com.au. I will put a link below, the full blog to this. If you sign up to Monday Mojo, the link below as well, you'll get the email with this video that will go out tonight or later today. And I want to tell you that your magic, wherever you sit in life right now, whatever your title, your age, race, gender, it's irrelevant. We're all needed to step up, to play our certain roles, to lead our own lives by example. And you absolutely have the ability to do that. So I hope today's toolkit has given you some food for thought, has given you the ability to go, wow, instead of just continuously pushing through, I have to recognize that I don't even need to get to the point of overwhelm if I'm responsible enough to recognize the signs early. And no matter what got you to this point now, no matter how far in survival mode you sit, whether you're hanging in there, barely breathing, I can tell you that you can make a massive shift because you just took the first step. You listened to this, you got engaged, you started thinking, and you will be surprised at the things that will unfold in front of you when you keep showing up for yourself like this. So please reach out. Nikki Fogden-Moore, thevitalitycoach.com.au, the Mojo Maker Show. Just Google Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker. Come join me, Instagram, Facebook, the podcast, Fitpreneur, Vitality are the other books. Adulting will be giveaways for all new subscribers in September and October on my YouTube channel. And it's such a pleasure to finally sit here myself and have the courage to say, you know what, I'm not going to sit here anymore and say, wouldn't it be great if I'm actually going to start providing as many tools I can as possible to inspire you and empower you to take action right now, to share a lot of the authors that I love, a lot of the other messages through this collective energy that you will hear, which is about waking up. No more fake throughs. So start for yourself, lead in your life, ask me questions, get curious, and take a leap of faith. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'd love your reviews. Please like, subscribe, share. You have a fantastic day ahead wherever you are. It's a real pleasure to share the space with you. And until next time, you stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.